granting questions or give you that information. And then Rhonda, of course, is here as well to help with any of the administrative things. So Leanne, if you're ready, there's so many folks in the meeting. I can see that you've unmuted. So Leanne, if you could just let folks know where things stand administratively for the grant program before we get started with the marketing, that would be great.
Sure, yeah. So like Amy said, I'm Leanne Partridge. I'm the Grants and Programs Assistant at Connecticut Humanities, and I have just a couple quick updates before we get started. The first is that I sent out emails to everybody's organization with your grant agreement and instructions for uploading your grant agreement to our portal. So if you didn't receive that email, please let me know. I'll drop my email in the chat. But otherwise, the grant agreements are due by the end of the week. So if you could get that signed and uploaded in the portal, that would be greatly appreciated. The other update that I have is that, as stated in the email, we are currently updating our own website with more resources. And so since I sent the email this morning, there are a couple more resources on our website. I'll drop the link in the chat for the webpage for Summer at the Museum. But you will see now, if you go to our Summer at the Museum webpage, that we have an FAQs section. An FAQ section for grantees. So this could answer some of the questions you might have about administering CT Summer at the Museum. And for a lot of your questions, our answer is make sure that is clear on your website. So I'm sure that we'll be talking more about that today as well. And then you'll see at the very end of the webpage that we have a resources for grantees section. And we've added there since this morning, we've added a checklist to help make sure that you are on track with everything you need to do for this grant. And we have a public relations toolkit that we're continuing to add to, but there is, Amy has created some very useful tools there, some sample press releases, letters to your legislator. There's a PR guidelines there. So please make sure that you check that out as well. And then the last update that I have is that for any organization that has not sent me your unique entity identifier, your UEI, which is your federal number, that is something that we will need in the coming month or so. So if you're having trouble with that and you need our help, please let me know. That's something that we are hoping to get squared away in the next month or so. So that's all I had. I'll drop my email in the chat in case you had any questions, and I'll turn it over to Christine.
Great, thank you so much. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christine Castingway. I'm with DECD in the Department of Branding and Marketing. And first and foremost, we just have to say how excited we are that this program is going to be offered again this summer. We ran this last summer for the first time, and it was very successful. And I think what you're going to find is families are definitely going to be coming out with their kids, looking for things to do. And this is just such a fantastic program. So there's a lot of energy and a lot of positivity around it. And to that extent, we've also put together some marketing tools to help promote this program as well. So I'm going to share my screen, have a couple of quick PowerPoint slides. Bear with me 1 minute. All right. Everybody see my screen? Yeah, okay, awesome. Sometimes when I do that, I can't see you, but I think we'll be okay.
Do you want to just put it in show mode, Christine? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all right, oops. Okay, so last year we had what we called a identifier or a badge, and that is what you're looking at here. So the CT Summer at the Museum, the key piece to this is that it's free admission for kids. All of our marketing materials, it will be used in the social media toolkit that we'll be providing you. It will be on the actual web page that is promoting this event. So you're going to see this as the common identifier through all the marketing materials. The great thing about it is we are also going to be giving it to you to download, and then you could use it for promotions of your individual participating museums and attractions. You'll also see that obviously on the opposite end, we've also translated this to Spanish, along with some of the other materials that promote the program. So we do have it in both English and Spanish for download. So, and for those that might have participated last year, it is a slight update in Creative, and we really did that somewhat intentionally because hopefully you've been following along. ctvisit.com has gotten a little bit of a facelift. It's gotten a little bit of a new look and feel, and we just wanted to make that transition into that website as seamless as possible for those visitors. So hope you agree that it is a fresh new update as well. And we've added the 2022 identifier just in case anybody finds something relative to last year's program. We want to make sure that they're identifying the museums that are indeed participating with us this summer. And we do have over 130, which is, again, absolutely fantastic and very exciting for all of our residents. This next slide is going to break down for you some of the key marketing activities that we have on tap. So the first thing is there is going to be a press release sent out by the governor's office, and that will be released on 6/29. In addition to that, the website that I was referring to, which is ctsummermuseums.com, which again, I'll show you a quick shot of later on, will be updated to show all of the participating museums. So that will actually be going live a little bit earlier, probably by end of day tomorrow, to make sure it's out there in advance of that press release. And that is where you're going to see your name of your museum participating. And then it provides a click over to your website. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Right now, what is on that website is what you see here, which is a coming soon. And that's been up there for a little bit now. Just wanted if anybody was starting to hear about the program or if they attended the program last summer and they were curious to see if this was being offered, we certainly wanted to sort of tease their appetite and have them come back and check it out as we got closer to the launch date. Again, paid media support is going behind this program. And with that, there will be social media, there will be email marketing, and there'll be digital advertising. And we're going to get a little bit more into that right now. So from a paid advertising standpoint, last year, again, we ran this program. It was very successful from a paid media standpoint. So we're taking a page or two from that last year and applying that to this year. So really focus on paid search, social media as mentioned with Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. In addition to streaming audio, which will be run on Spotify and Pandora and iHeartRadio, and then certainly digital display, the type of banner ads, and then Google Discovery. So the flight season of this paid media support is going to start on July 1st and run through August 31st. Knowing that this program ends on September 5th, but we didn't want to be advertising right up until the last day. We think by then people will definitely be aware that this program is available, and hopefully they've been planning and checking them off their to-do list all summer long. The media investment is $218,000. Again, a nice boost to promote the program. And you can see the breakdown there in terms of our media tactics. So I know last year we had some participants just asking, oh, if I have a couple of our own marketing dollars, where could we go to make a difference? So we certainly wanted to share this with you at a broad view so that you could see what we're doing at the state level. And then if there was anything you wanted to do more on a local or in your community, you could certainly do that as well. So the ctsummermuseums.com is the webpage. This again was the webpage last year, which has been updated with the creative. We've also tried to broaden the sampling of imagery representing all the different types of participants that we have this year. There's also quite a bit of language out here, but the most notable thing is really encouraging all of the individuals that want to partake in the program to most definitely go to your website, because as you can imagine, with 130 museums, it's really hard for us to address all the nuances and the differences in ticketing and availability and how they're going to be processed. And that is why at the beginning, we were hearing how important it's going to be on the homepage of your website or on your social media webpage, wherever it is you post information about your museum or your attraction, that you're really laying out the specifics of how you intend to administer this program at your individual museum. And again, availability. If there is some sort of a capacity, this was a little bit more last year because we were coming out of the thick of COVID and some smaller entities could physically only accommodate so many people per day. So they had an online advanced ticketing system. Again, another reason why you want these participants, as they're planning, to go from this webpage, which will be listed by county across the state, over to your website to get the specifics, you know, and that also includes making sure you update the hours that your property is open, the days that you're open, or if you're closed for any type of special events, making sure you're sharing as much of that information up front. And really that goes a long way from a customer service standpoint, right? Because we don't want anybody to be disappointed when they get there if you're either at capacity or closed for some reason or not open that day. So really try to make sure everyone has a great experience throughout the summer for this program. So, and if for some reason, once this web page goes up and if you see any kind of like spelling error or if anything was done mistakenly, certainly just reach out to us. Rob Damroth of the Connecticut Office of Tourism, he's on our call with us today. He is our website guru, and he will make sure we update your information if there's anything at all that needs to be tweaked there. There will also be a Spanish version of this webpage made available as well. And again, as I said, by the end of day tomorrow, this webpage will go from being a coming soon to all of the participants that have been granted for access this summer.
Christine, this is Amy from CTH. Just to follow up on what you said, who specifically should organizations reach out to if they do see that a change is needed? Should they go through us, or would you like them to contact somebody on your end, Rob in particular, directly? What would work best?
Yeah, I was thinking if it's exactly on this webpage, if it's on the ctsummermuseums.com, we certainly want to get that corrected as quickly as possible. But CT Humanities and Rhonda should be copied just to make sure whatever that typo or that spelling error is, that it you know, maybe it was just a technical thing, or is it on all of your paperwork relative to the program? So great question, Amy. Probably better safe than sorry, but I would copy all. You know, many of you do have CT visit listings with us. So we are familiar with the names of your property and where you're located, but we're all human, and every now and then there could be an error. So definitely take a look, if not by tomorrow night, by Wednesday morning, look at your listing. Also make sure it's clicking your website. And again, I cannot reiterate enough how important it is to update your websites with the information about how and when you're administering the program. So let me just keep going here. The last piece I really wanted to talk about too was this social media toolkit. This is something we've done in the past. It was very helpful. And again, we hope you find it is as well. We will be sending out, again, within the next 24 hours, we will send an email. It will go through Amy. And this will provide a social media toolkit. It will give you the ability to download these ID badges or identifiers. I kind of switched the name of them, but what we nicely call just the logo. You will be able to download it in both English and Spanish, but really it also has a couple of tips on there on how you create a social post for your own museum using that badge. So that again, as people are scrolling through their feed, maybe on whether it's Facebook or Instagram, And if they start to see this badge across a number of museums that maybe they follow, they're going to say, huh, I should really go check this out. Or, oh, they're participating. I heard about that, or I read about that from the governor's press release. So word will start to spread. And I do think there is a huge halo effect that starts to come from this as we all start to use this badge. It's what ties us all together. So as you're doing your individual either communications or marketing or social media, I'm sure you guys all have your own membership lists or consumer email lists, and maybe you send out a newsletter or an email, or maybe you just want to print it out and put it on the window of your front door. These are all things that you can do, low cost, no cost to you guys, to show that you're participating in the program. And we really were just trying to put together a toolkit that allows us all to do that consistently. And then at the end of the day, the traffic does go directly to ctsummermuseums.com. So we are able to see just how much traffic we were able to generate. And I don't have the numbers at my fingertips right this second, but I do remember last year it was significant. And again, not only from the paid media, but then all of our collective efforts. In addition, ctvisit.com is the call to action to the current summer campaign for the Office of Tourism, which is also running a lot of paid media right now. So you will be part of that CT Visit proper, and this program will be highlighted as well there. So lots of great things going on. We will be doing an e-blast to our consumer email list as well, promoting the program. So if there are any questions, again, feel free to reach out. But I think those FAQ docs from last year were really helpful. The information on the CT Humanities website. And then, of course, we're always accessible as well, should you have any questions. And with that, I'll stop sharing my screen unless anybody wants me to go back to a particular slide. No? Okay. All right. Okay. Are there any questions related to the marketing components we just quickly went over? I know I have a tendency to talk kind of fast.
Christine, there's a question in the chat from Donna Barron that says, will the images provided be able to create poster size 24 by 36 products?
That is a fantastic question. I am going to defer if I believe Jill Adams is on the call with us. Jill Adams is from our ad agency, Adams and Knight. I want to verify the resolution and make sure that it was intended for that. Jill, are you still with us?
I am with you, and it's a very good question. Donna, I don't know where you're from, but very good question. I would suggest, Christine, that we make available the posters that we are already going to be creating for other types of events, that we make the PDFs of those available to the partners as well. So we can add that to the toolkit, only because the resolution of the smaller badges is probably not going to be great at 24 by 36, but we're creating those posters anyway, so we can make them available.
Perfect. Great question, and an even better answer. We solved that one, so we will work on that. All right. Anything else? I see a little hand up, but there's so many of you. Oh, it went away? Nope, came back. I don't know who that is.
My name's Amy Wynn. I'm sorry, but I cannot see the chat in the screen, so I can't see any of the resources. My question is, what happens when they go to the summer at the museum webpage, and how do they then find out? Will there be a link to all the museums there?
So ctsummermuseums.com will be updated by end of day tomorrow with all 100, and I think there's 33 to be exact, participating museums. And that will provide a direct link to your resource. whether you gave a website or whatever it might have been that you gave as a place to find more information about your museum participating. Does that answer your question?
Somewhat. We are having a little bit of a hard time figuring out how to show up properly on ctvisit.com. We're relatively new to it. So I suppose the resources that will be sent out will help us with that.
Okay, so maybe your question's two-part, and let me see if I'm understanding myself. So for the program, anybody who has been granted into the CT Summer Museum program, all of you will be listed on one page, which is ctsummermuseums.com. In addition, as a museum, many of you currently probably have a CT Visit listing page as well. And if you need help setting up a CT Visit listing page, you certainly, can do so. And Rob Damroth, the gentleman I mentioned earlier, is again a great resource to help you if you're relatively new or just need to update your current CT Visit listing page. He could do so. Rob, do you want to add anything related to CT Visit listings?
No, when I was putting most of the stuff, the list together that I'd gotten from Rhonda, I got three more, so it's 136 now. I guess there was three more that came on board at the end here, but I don't remember too many of the places that were in that list that didn't sound familiar to me. There may be a few of the smaller historical sites that might not have a permanent listing on CT Visit. We can do that. There is a restriction in terms of it being open so many hours and within the normal travel season, but otherwise it's a lot more flexible than it used to be when we were producing our printed guide.
Okay. Great. Any other questions on CT Visit?
It's Amy again from Connecticut Humanities. Amy from American Mural Project, I have your email and I will send you said you can't see the chat. I will send you an email with Rob's email.
Thank you.
Their website is up, and I made sure their link got on the page when I was doing it on Friday afternoon.
Okay, great. Okay.
I have a question.
Just also before we move on to there's another question in the chat about when organizations can go ahead and send their own press releases. Can we send it on the 30th? And yes, absolutely. The governor's office is sending theirs on the 29th. And so anytime after that, starting the 30th on, go for it. We just don't want to scoop the governor.
I was going to say the exact same thing, Amy.
May I ask a question? I put it in the chat, but I just didn't get a response yet. And by the way, my chat just loaded. I wasn't getting anything, but now I am. So our museum is free to come to for adults and children. So should we still be using the badge on our homepage if we're always free?
Yes. So Wendy, is this you, Wendy?
Yes.
Yes. So I think that you're registered through the survey. Rhonda can maybe confirm, or maybe Leanne can look at the list. Actually, I have it right here. Yep, Bartlett is on the list. So yes, absolutely. You're part of the ctsummermuseums.com listing. We encourage you, yes, please, to use the badge to show that you're participating. If there's any other organization on the call that has not officially registered did not receive a grant, is usually free or free for the summer, and wants to be a part of the listing, you would need to email Rhonda at this point to be added to that. And Rhonda, would you pop your email in for us in the chat? I'd appreciate it. Thank you. I don't think there's too many here in that boat.
Yeah, and I would just reiterate, another great reason to think about, yes, some of you may, like you just described, typically offer free admission to kids or kids with an adult. But I think the opportunity that is here and to use that badge is, like I said, because then you get listed on that website where over $200,000 of media is going to be directing people. And again, as people start to see this badge pop up in different places on their social feed, they're going to be like, oh, I wonder who else is participating. And it just, that whole referral, like, oh, that was fun. What else is in my county? Or, gee, maybe I could plan a day and drive actually across the state, which only takes an hour. Nobody needs to have a heart attack. And they could go check out some other museums that are participating. So I think it's just showing the power of the program and putting that identifier on your materials. You're going to see does have leverage, certainly drive more people into your doors. And what we saw last year was, yes, maybe, admission is free for that child and that Connecticut adult, but while they're there, maybe you have a gift shop. We saw lots of places, their gift shop sales went up, right? So you have opportunity for other revenue, and even for your local community. If you bring more foot traffic into your local community, it may also be helping some of those local restaurants in the area. So it really does start to have a little bit of a ripple effect in getting people to enjoy a great day out here in Connecticut. And that's what it's all about. I feel like I can't see, I see a hand, but I don't know who's raising it. So
Christine, it's Rhonda. I rose my hand. This is Rhonda Oliski from the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development. I just wanted to jump in to clarify. There are 3 for-profit museums who are participating in this program. I am your contact when it comes to your contract and receiving your funding. So you are not going through Connecticut Humanities. You are actually going through DECD, and I have been in communication with all of you. So I just want to just let you know that don't be confused by what was said earlier, that you are going to be dealing with me at DECD. Secondly, I want to reiterate what Christine said. A lot of participants last year did see a huge jump in revenue in their other areas, like the gift shop or their snack shop. So that was pretty good, benefit to the program as well. And Christine or Amy, perhaps you can talk about when participating museums should make this offer live on their website. So the press release is going out on Monday, but the program doesn't kick off till July 5th. So maybe we can have a discussion about when reservations can start being accepted.
Yeah, so just make sure I heard you right. So the press release will go out on the 29th, but the program starts on Friday, the 1st, correct? So I think it's
no, it's not July 1st. It starts July 5th. I believe it's 5th or 6th.
What?
That's not,
It is the 1st.
it's the first.
It's July
ends on
1st through
September 5th.
September 5th.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I'm getting confused. Okay.
It's okay.
Disregard me.
And don't disregard the first part of what Rhonda said. That was really important information about the for-profit museum. Just forget the
This
rest.
whole time I had July 5th in my head for the start of this program, and I thought it was so weird that it was starting after July 4th. But anyways, okay.
Yeah. So to that point, I mean, I that has online ticketing capability, and it's going to be programmed. It will only allow someone to go online and purchase a ticket starting July 1st. You're probably fine, and putting in however you're going to identify that free ticket. If you're a property that does not have an online ticketing capability, I think you just have to understand, if you put that notice on your homepage maybe before July 1st, you may get a couple of people showing up on your door June 30th who don't read the fine detail and they think they could come for free on the 30th. So if that's, so I would just think about that. The press release goes out the 29th. The 30th is sort of our buffer day there. You could start to upload your websites and things like that. And then certainly by Friday, it should be on all of your websites. And again, once they see that press release, they will go to ctsummermuseums.com, because I'm sure you guys are seeing it all over the news, just like I am, right? Everything's about inflation. Everything's about cost. Nobody's giving away anything for free right now. We're all paying double for our gas and double for our milk. So we go and we do something where it's free, especially at a time where now kids are finally out of school. Everyone's trying to figure out what they're going to do with them. You're heading into a holiday weekend. This is fantastic. We just want to make sure the right information is available to them. So again, going back to the importance that absolutely your websites need to be updated no later than 7/1. If you update it the day before, just understand a couple people may get overly excited, not read the fine detail, and they could show up a little early. And again, it's all about that customer service that we want to make sure we're trying to prepare everyone for, because we learned a few things. I'll say that last year. So I finally do see some of the hands. Tracy, Shira, how are you? You have a question.
I am well. Yes, I have 3 things, and then I'll just mute again. First of all, thank you. And thank you especially for the bilingual materials and the social media kit. Amazing. We have some assets that are sort of pre-made from last year that will have some of that old branding on it. And I just wanted to put that out there. We'll try to switch everything over, but we certainly want to be on board with that. But I wanted to just say that would happen at our venue at least. And then I would like to also say that, excuse me, Connecticut Transit is offering free transportation within the state. So that's definitely something that we're going to leverage, and maybe some other venues could take advantage of that. It's a really nice package. And then the third thing was when we launch the social media kit, will those, with the dates on it, will those also be, will we also get, is it just the badges, or are there also like photos or anything that come with that? Or is that something we just provide through CT Visit?
Yeah, so the idea behind the social media toolkit, great questions, Tracy, as always. That the badge is what you're able to download. Then we provide a few sample posts, like the actual text, making sure you also use the right hashtag CT Summer Museums, right? So we have some tips in there on how to create a post. In terms of the images, certainly we're thinking you're going to want to use an image from your museum and put the badge on there to promote it. So that's the idea there. And you have images, like you said, already loaded to some degree on your CT Visit listing page. So hopefully that would be helpful. Does that answer your question relative to the social media toolkit?
It does. And about the older branding, Christine, I apologize. I was about to sneeze before.
That's okay. So I'm guessing you mean you must have some like printed or posters or something that is not of digital nature. Is that what you're referring to, Tracy?
We do have some digital assets that are kind of ready to load that we'll try to change out as soon as we can. But we have a couple of like print ads in some community like programs that we had to send like this week. So those things will have the old branding on them.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, that's understandable. The good news is the URL is the same from last summer. And like we said, the name of the program is the same. The language on the badge is the same. It was really the creative behind it that just evolved ever so slightly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's okay. So yes, as soon, and you know, if anybody needs the badge, like today, like Tracy, maybe you need it today.
That would be
If you need, yeah, we could certainly work to get that to you today. So maybe you could intercept at least some of those digital pieces.
Christine, this is Amy at CTH. If you could send that to me, CTH can get it on the website in the resources for grantees, and then everyone can pull it right from there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
That would be really
I-
helpful.
all right. I'll work with Adam tonight to get that done. Okay. Leanne, is that you? Did you have a
Yep.
question?
Yeah, I had
There
just
you
a
are.
quick clarification point going back to Wendy's question. Wendy from Bartlett Arboretum, a question about if you're already free, should you put the badge on your website? I just wanted to clarify that this year we did allow organizations or museums that don't regularly charge admission to apply for a grant as well. So if you received a grant, you do not need to get on a list. You are already on the list. The list that you might want to email Rhonda to get on is only if you are a museum that does not charge admissions and you did not apply for a grant. And so if you have questions about that, you can reach out to us as well.
Okay, great. Jerry, do you have a question? It just says
Yeah,
Jerry. Oh, there you are.
I'm Jerry. Can
Okay.
you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you. Go ahead.
That's quite all right. Excuse me. My name is Jerry. I'm with the Norwalk Seaport Association down here in Norwalk, Connecticut. Our museum is a little bit unique. Everybody's is unique, but our museum is on the middle of an island. We own Sheffield Island Lighthouse, built about 154 years ago. So we have a little bit of a challenge in terms of transporting passengers beyond certain numbers. We are a licensed Coast Guard vessel. We can only transport 48 passengers at a given time. So one of my questions is, and maybe this is going to come further on in the session, but I thought I'd ask it now. What restrictions can we put on in terms of the number of people that utilize this program?
So, Jerry, this is Amy at Connecticut Humanities, and I'm just going to speak quickly and let Leanne and or Rhonda jump on too, because this is also similar to a question or a statement in the chat from Richard Cleary saying we're only talking about one adult ticket per family, right? And then Rhonda dropped in the chat, and I don't know if you were able to see that there, but basically each individual organization is able to implement whatever they need to do to make this program work the best for them. It's just that you have to clearly put that on your website. Leanne, if you want to add to that, and or Rhonda.
Sure, right. So the intention for this program is to make it free for Connecticut resident children 18 and under and one accompanying adult. But participating museums do have the ability to adjust as needed, whether that's having a restriction like a blackout date for a special event, or if you need to make any adjustments. We just ask that you make it abundantly clear on your website so that when we send visitors to your website for planning their visit, that it's clear to them what the restrictions are.
This is Jerry again. Do you want us or require us to run our program by you before we post it?
Not necessarily. If it's going to be a big departure, it might be helpful to connect with us just to make sure that it's still within the intention of the program. But otherwise, that's something you can do and just report out at the end of the grant period.
For instance, and this is not a decision yet, we run approximately 17 to 19 trips per week to the island. We could so what you're saying is we could make 50% or 40% or 70% available, and then the other 30% not available.
Right. If you're going to have something like advanced registration required, or a cap on the number of tickets that are available per day because of your transportation needs, just make sure that that's clear on your website.
Yeah, I mean, by the nature of our business, we're capped at 48 people. That's the end of that.
Yep.
Except those that like to swim out, but not many do that. And may I ask another question? It's a deviation from the marketing aspect, but in terms of financial reporting and accounting, are you going to discuss that in this session, or is that another time?
No, that's something that we will send out an email when the final report is available. And if you would like to discuss it, we can discuss. I'm happy to stay on after this call as well to talk about what we do have so far, but that's something that we'll share later on in the grant period.
Yeah, my question is in the context, it's so much easier to prepare and begin to do your record keeping before the event starts or before the program starts than have to go back and reconcile and try and find out what you did.
Right. We're working on getting that as soon as possible, and we'll send out an email when that's available.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
There's still a hand up here from Kira. Are you here and have a question? And I'm not sure who's sharing their screen, but
Not me.
Kira, are you here with a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just because you were talking about getting the marketing materials out possibly sooner, for some reason I don't think everyone's seeing them. Never mind, the chat updated before. It didn't seem like it was. Sorry about that. But if I leave my email in the chat, can you send me the marketing materials as soon as possible for like the logo? Because we're trying to get a newsletter out. It might not be able to go in the newsletter. It might have to be like a special e-blast, but we can fit it into our newsletter. Our newsletter is trying to go out today. So.
Yeah, we will send it to everybody. I mean, it'll go through Amy, but we will work so that she can share that with all of you. So as soon as we get off this call, we'll make that a priority to figure that out.
Thank you. And great work, everybody.
Looks like you have a new hand up, Matthew.
One quick question regarding the restrictions. I'm with the Railroad Museum of New England, Naugatuck Railroad, and last year we did have an issue where I know it's kids are free and one guardian, and we'd have people making multiple transactions from the same credit card to try and take advantage of the program. If there were two kids, they'd do it kid and adult to try and get the entire family free. Is that something that is acceptable, or is that something we should be looking to address if we see that repeatedly happening?
I can answer that. So that's not the intention of the program. The intention is that the family would have the children and one guardian. And if there is, some method that you have for determining how that's happening, whether that's the same credit card or something like that, you are at your discretion to administer this program. So if that's a requirement that you're going to be using, just make sure that that's clear on your website, how you are defining a guardian with children.
Okay, thank you. I'll be updating the website this evening, so we'll be sure to put the verbiage on there then.
Amy, maybe we should draw attention to the language that I put in the chat of the key points of what's going to be on the landing page.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Rhonda. Do you want to go ahead and do that?
Well, it's in the chat. You guys will probably have to scroll up a bit, but there's a very specific language that's going to be on the landing page that clearly states that you, as a participating museum, can administer this program at your discretion. So basically, when someone goes on the landing page, they're going to see the language that this is for Connecticut children aged 18 and under plus one accompanying Connecticut resident adult. But each participating museum has the discretion to administer this program to the best of their ability and according to their needs. They have the right to apply certain restrictions, and capacity may be limited. For example, limit one adult per household, or blackout days, or it doesn't include special events, or some special program that's being offered on the same day that they're visiting your museum. The child and the accompanying adult must be Connecticut residents, and you are allowed to ask for proof of residency if you'd like. And just on the last note, that it is geared towards families, not groups. So this language will be on the landing page. Please repeat it on yours if you want to, but be very clear that if you do have restrictions, like a Connecticut driver's license is going to be required, to just make that super clear on your website. So if someone starts arguing with your admissions person, they have the backup that says, well, it was clearly stated on our website.
Thank you, Rhonda. And I actually put that in the chat again while you were speaking. There's a comment here, but to be clear, if we prefer to have more adults accompanying the children, we can allow more than one adult in for free since that works best for our organization. Yes, that's what you're saying, Rhonda and Leanne, that whatever works best for the organization is what you're able to go ahead and do. You just need to clearly state that on your website. I think that's just a comment from Tamara about how they handle residency. Jerry, you still have your hand up. Do you have another question?
No, I just forgot to take it down. My apologies.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, and then Mary Dean. Do you have a question? How about Tracy?
There it is.
I do.
Oh,
Just out of
go ahead,
curiosity.
Mary. Go ahead, Mary, and then we'll do Tracy.
Okay.
The Amity and Woodbridge Historical Society is one of those that doesn't normally charge admission. So we're thinking of other ways to promote the program. Locally, one way is to have little flyers that we give out at the library. Is there going to be a flyer model for us to copy from the participants' materials? Or do we need to make our own?
Yeah, so I can jump in here on that. So we didn't necessarily have a flyer. I think the key here is you want to take that badge and then put it on, like create your own with that badge in terms of the details about your property and the hours for summer. That's what I would recommend, especially if you're doing that as a leave behind for the local library, which, by the way, is a fantastic idea. You know, you really want to customize that to make it your own in terms of the specifics of like we were just talking about in terms of not only your hours, but who could get in and how many are free or whatever the situation might be.
That part's easy. I'm looking forward to linking us with this broader initiative to let people here in our town know that they have this option throughout the state. So it's that part of the verbiage that I'm really looking for from you guys, and I guess I can just rip it off.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll make sure you also all see the press release when that goes out, because there'll be language in there too that you'll want to be aware of.
Okay.
Tracy, I see you now.
Thank you. Just one last question out of curiosity. Who are the for-profit museums that have come on board this year?
I can
That
answer
would be
that.
Rhonda.
Yeah, this is Rhonda. It is Barker's Comic and Character Museum in Cheshire. It is Nature's Art and the Dinosaur Crossing, or the Dinosaur Place, excuse me, in Oakdale, and it's Essex Steam Train and Riverboat in Essex, Connecticut.
Awesome. Thank you.
I don't see any other hands up, and I think we're caught up in the chat. Leanne mentioned if there's any CTH grantees, not the for-profit grantees, but any CTH grantees that have specific questions, she and I can stay on for a little while. But if you have any other marketing questions, please. Oh, we have a hand up now. I made it so enticing. Steve Gould, let's hear it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know last year there was some museums that went through some kind of a quota system where once the grant money was expended, the program might have been shut down. And even though the period of time still for free admissions was continued until, you know, September, Labor Day. Is that happening this year, or can museums do that this year? We're gonna run the program for the full length of time. I mean, we've already decided that, but I remember hearing that last year at this similar meeting, I believe.
I can jump in on this. This is Rhonda. If I understood your answer correctly, your question correctly, it was some participating museums had their grant revenue exceeded what they were giving away or did not exceed in what they were giving away in admission. Is that what you were referencing?
Yes, or the grant money might have been used up.
Yes, perfect example was New England Air Museum, Mystic Aquarium.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
far surpassed their grant amount, but they continue to honor the program. And they were actually made up for lost revenue, the different income coming in from their gift shops and other revenue sources.
Right. Now, did any museums, just stop the program as a result of running, coming to the end of their grant before the program date expired?
We would like you to offer it through the whole program, and that's why we gave the discretion to administer it as you feel it best suits you. So if you have to limit the amount of admission, so you can stretch it out through the summer, that's ideal.
Yeah. Okay.
We want everyone to be participating in the program through the whole dates of the program up until September 5th.
Yeah, that's understood, and that's what we intend to do. Because I agree with, I guess somebody said before, the gift shop and other items did very well as a result of the additional traffic we got as a result of the program. So
yeah. I mean, but God forbid if there's anybody on this call that needs to back out before the end of it, is to please contact either myself or Connecticut Humanities so we can discuss it with you, and if need be, remove you from the website.
Gotcha. That answers my question. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Rhonda. Any other questions for Christine and the marketing team here today? Thank you so much for sharing everything. I'll just give another second here. Any last minute questions? This recording will be found on Connecticut Humanities website in the resources section. So if you hopped on late, or if you want to refresh yourself, you didn't hear something quite right, you can watch it again. Christina, I'll turn it over to you. I don't see any other questions.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, again, this has been great. Very excited. I think, again, next couple of days, end of day tomorrow, jump out on ctsummermuseums.com, check out the listing of all the participating museums. Then the press release is going to be going out, so keep your eyes open for that as well. And then certainly the program launch is on Friday. All emails, so you guys don't get bombarded, as Amy said, will be going through Amy with any additional marketing materials. We will work to get those out to you as soon as possible. And then if you have any questions or concerns about your CT visit listing or anything technical regarding how your museum or property is referenced on ctsummermuseums.com, as I mentioned, that's Rob Damroth. We'll make sure you have that contact info as well for the technical side of things. And from there, we're really excited. We're going to be watching, once the paid media launches, we're going to be watching the engagement and the visitors, across the board coming into the program. And we look forward to hearing how that foot traffic is through your doors as well. And we hope it's mutually beneficial for everyone and everyone has a great summer.
Just like to jump in real quick, Christine. I see everybody thanking us. Please don't thank us. Please thank your local legislators and Governor Lamont. They are the people who dedicated this funding for this program for a second year in a row. So please reach out and thank them if you need help finding out who your legislators are, you can email me. This is Rhonda, and I will be happy to help point you in the right direction. Just a simple email to your local representatives can go a long way, especially in perhaps getting additional funding for continuous years of this program.
Thank you for that, Rhonda. And we, CTH has a Find Your Legislator link on the webpage as well, and a sample note to your legislator and to the governor. That can't be overstated. Thank you, Rhonda.
Hey, and don't be scared to drop it an email. They're just people too. You know, I get some people like, oh, I don't want to bother them. Just a nice, simple email. Say, hey, this is Rhonda from ABC organization, and we're participating in the Connecticut Summer of the Museum Initiative. And thank you so much for making funding available for this. Period. Sincerely, sign off.
Yeah, with the PS, come on by, right? Don't forget to invite them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I'm going to stop recording here.
Okay. Yep. And if it's okay, Christine, can we keep, I think you can end you can leave the call and leave it open for a little bit for Leanne and I, just in case there's any last minute.
Sure thing.
Thanks.